You know, thank you, Gene.
It is something that you notice in this film. The music video industry changed a lot of choreography for the camera. But you went back to some of the old traditions here of showing the dancing and showing the physicality of what these guys were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think dance and choreography, music can be storytelling. It's the reason why musicals, you know, were invented. And although I'm open to all kinds of ideas, for me, I like to use choreography as a means of progressing the story, you know, and helping the characters move to the next sort of event in the story, enriching the plot, deepening the whole emotional value of the film. And so cutting a lot, for me, just sort of can confuse the audience in terms of what it is that you're hoping the musical number will accomplish. So I tend to have that sort of old-style MGM, backyard musical, Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney, Busby Berkeley kind of approach to musical storytelling.
I think one thing that I left, certainly after having worked on this film with you, was bringing acting to movement and bringing movement to acting. And there was a lot of rehearsal, a lot of rehearsal to get these steps down and everything. And once we learned the steps, then there was a big focus on now let go of all your technique, and now your kid's in the street doing this. And it was a big leap, but once we did it, it felt natural and real. And actually, I've used that for the rest of my work for always. Thank you.
So, help us through this, because you guys all remember being in the film and in charge of the film and directing and creating the film. So when we watch it today, tell us some of the secret things we should be looking for, the things that you put in there as a director or that you guys remember happening that we might want to look for.
Let's see. Some of the things, all the time throughout my life, when I've been introduced to new people, I become friends with new people. Everybody always wants to watch Newsies with me, and I always end up like telling the same stories. But I'm trying to think now that I'm on the spot. In the opening number, carrying the banner, there's a scene there's a little thing where I'm pumping water into Matthew. What was his name in the movie? Yeah, Matthew Schoenfeld, and he's sitting there scrubbing up, and I just remember the water was freezing, and he was dying, and he was like, I don't want to get in that tub. And I was like, oh, yes, you are. And he was miserable, and he had to sit there, all scrubbing up, so I do.
Yeah, I would walk over to him and I'd say, Matthew, we just had a little problem with the camera. We have to do this one more time, and his eyes would just like bulge out of his head.
Is there anything else you guys remember that we should be on the lookout for?
How about that it was 110 degrees?
Who left their watch on?
Arby.
Arby's watch. Keep an eye out for Arby's watch.
Yeah. The world will know when Kevin is out there doing all those amazing gymnastic dance moves. It was at like 110, and they were dancing on pavement, and it was just miserably hot. So we're dealing with the elements of summer.
And we shot a lot of the outdoor scenes at Universal, as you said, and so the New York street was right next to the Back to the Future courtyard. So at that time, the Super Soaker water guns were really popular, and so whenever we break after a scene, we'd all grab our Super Soaker water guns, dressed in full-on Newsie garb, run to the Back to the Future courtyard area, and just start spraying each other, fanatically with these water guns while like the trams are going by. The tourists. And everyone's like, what is all that? And we're like, spray them, and then we'd spray each other. And
a few months before we were starting principal photography, I got a telephone call at home here in the Valley that Universal backlot had burned to the ground. And that's where we were shooting Newsies. And of course you could imagine the panic. The whole back lot had burned down. All of New York was gone. And fortunately for us, Universal acted quickly, and Steven Spielberg and I were both scheduled to do movies back there. They called us both to the table and said, okay, we're redesigning the backlot, and since you both have the first movies back there, we'll let you give us some input. And so the whole newspaper set, the Pulitzer's, the world, that was all built specifically for us, that still exists on the back lot today. So there were many of the actual locations that we shot at the Universal backlot still exists today and were built specifically for our film. Yeah, also, yeah, I think Do the Right Thing was being shot while we were doing Newsies. Yeah, I think we were sharing a lot with a few other amazing filmmakers, Spike Lee, Steven Spielberg.
It was a good experience overall for you as a director.
Wow, I'll never forget it.
Was it a good experience for you guys? Anybody in the audience have any questions for any of these guys? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, my question is for Crutchy. I'm sorry, I don't know your real name.
Marty. If people say Crutchy, they'll be like, yeah, what do you do?
I was just on IMDb the other night and I forgot.
No worries.
I know that some of the cast of Newsies had done a horror film while shooting the movie, and I've seen that. And I just wanted to know, you're here shooting a big Hollywood movie, so where does the idea come along to film a just as equally good movie with on an amateur scale?
That's a good question. We as a cast just got along great. We were all friends. We became friends over the course of the rehearsals and the shoot, and we were just, and Kenny really encouraged us to have fun and be creative and just, do what we wanted to do to bond as a group, because we had to obviously show that on film as well. So there was sort of an older set of the Newsies and the younger set of the Newsies, and it was really spurred by the older gang, like Trey and Mark David and Ivan Dudinsky. And so I think it was almost maybe Michael Gorjan who was really into filmmaking, and it might have even been him who had the idea, so he would bring his camcorder.
That was mine.
Oh, was it?
I brought my
Oh,
They were huge
my
back
bad.
then. It was like this. It was like on your shoulder, like gigantic thing. For some reason, I had it. I don't know why. I was just like, felt like I needed one. And I kept bringing it to set. And I was like, can I take that?
Shows how much I know. So that, it was really because of Kenny's inspiration that we did feel we could be creative and do new things. And so you guys wrote a script, a horror script, and I actually knew very little about it because I was it was more the older Newsy guys. I'm actually not the best person to talk
We
about
kept
it.
developing.
Yeah, but suddenly they'd bring us in and be like, can you just die for this scene? Okay. And
I was stepping over bodies for days. I'd be looking for someone and suddenly there'd be like a dead body with blood on, I would, step over a Newsie.
Only Gorgon had the true master plan.
yeah, very possibly.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I want to know who else has a question. Oh, right here.
What has it been like for you guys to see Newsies about to be reinvented? And I know, Kenny, you and some of the other guys got to sort of have a mini reunion at the Paper Mill for the out-of-town tryout before it goes to Broadway. What is it like to see that new version and new audience about to fall in love with this thing that obviously a lot of people already have fallen in love with?
I found it sort of like watching videos from high school. It was like, oh, I remember that moment. Oh, it was so hot that day. When we did that scene. Oh, look, there's Crutchy. It was like watching your friends on stage, and I was very proud to see it translated to stage. It was beautiful to hear Santa Fe sung like that, so strong and powerfully with someone with such a beautiful voice. I was very proud of the cast, and they did such a great job with the limited stage that they had.
You didn't get to see it, did you?
I have not seen it yet. I'm hoping to get out in March.
I saw it. I went on Fan Appreciation Day to the Paper Mill out in New Jersey. Was anyone there that's here? Wasn't that a special day? I have to tell you, extraordinary cast. Jeff Calhoun, who also directed the live version of High School Musical that came out after the films. And really brilliant stage director. Harvey Fierstein, one of my favorite people from the stage, Hairspray. And La Cage aux Folles, an incredible writer. I mean, really an amazing group of people that came together, along with Alan Menken and some of the originals, to realize this. The kid that plays Jack Kelly, Jeremy Jordan, is just a star is born. This kid is amazing. But the big thing for me was the movie had to work and to draw the attention of enough people for Disney to want to invest the time and financing into creating a Broadway musical out of the idea. And that I sat there so proud that our history brought us to a place where this film has now captured the imaginations of so many people that it was worthwhile to turn it into a stage piece. So I'm beyond thrilled, proud of everybody who was associated with it, and cannot wait to be at opening night in New York.
And if I may add, I would just like to give a shout out to the fans, because I really think it's the fans who made this all happen, you know?
Alive.
Totally. I mean, I think.
Thank you.
Tenacious fan.
I feel like we could stay here all day, but we have a movie to watch.
Let's watch a movie.
Yeah. Now, Kenny, I know because I was with you 2 years ago, but have you guys seen it with an audience lately?
Yeah, we actually just had besides the Playhouse, I pulled together a little mini reunion over downtown where we played a game called Boozies. created by these girls here, where in different roles you have a drink every time you hear a word like boobs. So I remember the first half.
It's an idea for next screening, Steve, okay? Think about it. Think about it.
Help me thank Marty and Kevin for being here.
And hope D23